What's up, guys? Technonaut Games here. I'm going to show you two examples of good driving, like fair racing, and then, well, this one isn't fair, of fairly dirty driving, and then clean racing, back to back, two different examples. This one we're in the Audi TT Group 4 again, the front wheel drive race I showed you last time, but a different one. Now coming up to the first corner, this race was always a mess because there was such a huge slipstream. It almost didn't matter where you started. And we're getting smashed around and smashing people in turn. Coming into the first corner. I didn't end up too bad. I was still third. The Brazilian that's in second in the Peugeot was kind of a dickhead, basically. Yeah, I think he didn't even start in the top 8, looking back at this. And I thought I had hit him or something, and maybe that's why he pushed me wide, but no, he was just being an asshole. As you can see by him slamming the other Brazilian that was in the lead to the side to pass him. And I didn't understand. You see, he slowed down big time there, and I was like, what the heck is this guy doing? I realize now, looking back at it, that he just didn't even know the track very well, so he was being pretty cautious into that corner. So I say, alright, I'm out of here, and I give him a little tap and go by. Because I know he's got a 4-second penalty. He's not going to have a chance to smash into me coming into this braking zone. So at the end of the first lap, I think we started 4th. We're into 3rd, so we didn't really lose too much. We're still in the slipstream. We're doing alright. And I can count on basically people fighting behind me dirtily and smashing each other and losing time. So we're in a nice 3-way battle. We kind of don't have anybody near behind us. We've got our own little group. Brazilian, American, and Canadian. So that's kind of cool. 3 different nationalities in the top 3. And this, honestly, although I lost sportsmanship in this race, it was kind of a fun race, just because the nature of this track and all the drafting that was going on, slipstreaming. You could win the race even if you weren't the fastest driver. So coming in here, I brake basically perfectly. This guy hits the wall, hits into me, kind of screws me up for this corner. I go in super shallow, come out, hit the wall. And now he's got a bit of a run on me, so I go defensive. He goes wide. I realize he doesn't have enough momentum on me, so I just take my normal line into the corner. So now we're up to 2nd. Still in this guy's slipstream, so I'm not trying to kill these corners. Although I don't really think I could anyway. Guy in first taps the inside. I move at the last second to get around him and get into the lead. And I think he got a penalty for that. And then I get absolutely killed going through that corner. And somehow, some way, the Brazilian doesn't get a penalty. I don't. Penalties in this game don't make sense to me. Like, I don't get it at all. So the guy in front of me is services penalty. So I figure I actually braked super late into this corner. I might have, looking back, I don't know. I might have wanted to just smash into him, but he broke or brake? I don't know. He broke super late, we'll say. And I was able to get around him because he had a horrible run out of the corner and get a bit of a gap coming down the front straightaway. So he's barely in my toe zone. Got such a bad run that we're almost going the same speed, I think, down the straightaway, which is rare. For this track, anyway. For this track in this class. I'm kind of trying to break the toe, going in spots that you wouldn't normally go. The 2 guys behind me are fighting super hard. can kind of use my normal braking points too, since I'm not getting a tow at this point. So that helps out a little bit. And I look back and I realize the guy behind me actually has like a fairly decent penalty. So all I have to do is kind of stay away from everybody. Have like a solid, not super fast, but solid lap, and I'll be sitting alright. Now this corner, sometimes I would shift into fourth. I don't know which was better, to be honest. It's hard to remember now. But I really like these two sets of corners, and these Group 4 cars are really fun. You just have to let off just a little bit to make it through. Now the guy behind me got close enough that now he's in my tow range. So if he gets a good run coming through this last corner, he might actually be close enough to catch up and pass me before the finish line. So I focus really, really hard on getting a good exit, which I do accomplish, and I have enough of a run that I stay in front and take the win. So I was pretty happy with this race. It was kind of getting abused at the start, and then as soon as I got clear, they just abused each other and left me alone, basically. I didn't have a paint job for this race, so I'm not doing the theier too early for this one. So I take the win, pretty happy about everything. Canadian, American, Brazilian, 1, 2, 3. The guy that actually crossed the line third went down to fifth, I think, on that race. So here's the next car that I'm going to show you. I did do a quick paint job for this car. I used a special color, I can't remember what it's called, but I just wanted something bright that you would, I don't know, I was trying to make it look like a Mazda Cup car, like the stickers that I have on say Mazda Cup something, I don't know. But basically I wanted it to look like a factory car that a spec series would run, kind of a thing. So this one didn't take that long at all. I just did a fairly simple swoosh, put Mazda all over it, had a little MX-5 license plate, and then just had a few sponsor stickers around the front fender. This was a really fun race. I like this race in the Roadster. This is a different kind of standing start than I was used to. I didn't, I probably should have used my traction control right off the start and just floored it, but I didn't think about it at the time. So you'll see the guy in first goes super wide. The guy behind me gives me a little tap, but he's obviously trying to stay off of me because he backs off big time. So these are basically pure gentleman racers here that I'm driving with. This Turismic Flow guy, I get a bit of a run on him here, not huge. Like I tried to take it easy through this corner to save my left front tire, and he like moves over and just lets me by, and I don't know why. I think maybe he was just gonna try to stay in my draft and save his tires. I actually left the inside open for him there, but he didn't take it. And from that point forward, I pretty much led the rest of the race. You see me checking back to see where everybody is and who's behind me. And I usually got a pretty decent run out of this corner, enough that whoever was behind me didn't get enough of momentum to take a dive into this corner. But I brake actually a little bit late there. But I still get a good run out. He kind of stayed, the Turismic Flow guy, for the most part, stayed about the 0.6 to a second behind me for the first 4 or 5 laps. I'm not going to show you all first 4 or 5 laps, but this corner, you can take early on with fresh tires in this race, you could take flat out. But I just wanted to save my left front as much as possible on this track, just because it was basically destroyed by the end of the race if you were pushing everywhere. And for these longer races, I don't usually have the all-out speed. All-out speed, I'm not really racing S-level drivers or anything. But I don't have the all-out speed to beat them most of the time. So for the longer races, I basically try to save my tires as much as I can and then pick them off later in the race. So here we are later. I just skipped ahead, and we're coming up on the last lap now. And because the Turismic Flow actually got in a fight with the other guy, they lost a ton of time, and I was able just to kind of cruise around, save my tires. So the second last lap, I think I was like a half a second off, maybe my fastest lap time, after 14 laps on the same tire, so it's really not bad at all. And I couldn't believe the lead I had actually after this race. I thought it was going to be a tooth and nail battle to the end. But I was able to comfortably cruise to the lead here, save my tires, not use up my equipment. So it was a good race for me. Nobody was smashing each other. It was amazing. Really fun race. I just got to concentrate on trying to put in good laps and learn as much as I can. So we're coming down the back straight. Still putting in a decent lap right now, I think I've got almost the whole back straightaway lead at this point. I'm actually closer to the guy in last than the guy in second is to me. So that's rare for me and awesome at the same time. So yeah, that's just an example of a good clean race. Technonaut Games out.